Hey, two-wheeled friends, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Fury Day. I debated about which motorcycle to ride when recording this video, and I'm a little more comfortable on this Honda Fury than I am the Honda Shadow, even though this would probably be a pretty good Honda Shadow topic. And today's topic is going to be lane position when riding in the city. What do you do? I will show you what I do. Let's roll the intro. I thought I was going to work on the Black Hills footage, and then I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to do that maybe in the next week. I don't know, it just takes so long to do that kind of footage on those Harley-Davidson trips that we do. So riding nearly 1,200 miles last weekend that we did, kind of learn a little bit more every time you ride, and like what the best lane position is to ride in. And in this video, I'm not saying there's a right or a wrong place to ride. I think it just really depends on your behavior, your city you live in, how much traffic there is, the roads, you know, like how the crossroads are. And riding in the country might actually be a little bit different than riding in the city. And then riding with one or two or three other bikes versus just riding with one. Obviously, the main goal here is to be seen while you are out riding. Now, today may not be the best day to record this video. It's a Sunday. There's not a lot of traffic, and it's not like we tend to have a lot of traffic in our city the way it is. That's what happens when you try to take off in second gear. Those of you who have been with the channel for any amount of time can probably know where my favorite lane position to ride in. And like I said, I'm not telling you where to ride. You go out and do your own thing. You do what you need to do to be safe. This is just for educational purposes only. Kind of on the outskirts right now. As you can see, we're coming into a little bit more traffic. So I tend to try to find kind of, I don't want to say the faster lane, but I try to stay right here. This is where I like to ride. And as we ride, I'll talk to you a little bit more about why I like to ride here. But typically, on my route to our business, this is the exact lane I'm in. And I got to turn left up here. So one could say, well, you're just in that lane because you do have to turn left. There's a little truth to that. But like, see right now, this vehicle is going a little slower. So I am going to switch over, and then I'm going to stay right here in lane position 1. That way they can see me in their mirror better versus being all the way over in lane position 3. Now I'm going to have a little bit higher alert at this intersection, making sure there aren't any cars turning left. I'm going to watch this white pickup, make sure they can see me. There's this white car here because I'm kind of in a blind spot. I do not like riding right here on these 4-lane roads with a turning lane divider because of visibility. I feel it's best visible, what's up dude, right here. Now cars turning off on our left onto the highway, they can see me. I leave enough cushion so any cars on the right turning out can see me. If I need to, I will ride lane position 2 if I feel like I got a little bit of defense to ride. And like I said, it's Sunday. Sunday drivers. I feel this is an unsafe place to be behind all these vehicles, so I switch over. I tend to go a little bit faster than the flow of traffic because you're in more control. Again, my opinion, I feel you're in more control when you're going faster than the traffic. You can dictate what happens a lot better. Also, being over here, you got all this cars turning. And then you kind of get stuck in these positions. Okay, that car's turning off. Got a trailer, could have debris on it. Clear, switch back over. And I go all the way over to lane position 1. There's some stuff. I don't think it's going to come off there, but it's definitely kind of bouncing around back there. Just kind of keeping it going a little bit faster than the flow, still abiding by traffic laws, watching those vehicles that are going to be making left-hand turns towards me just to make sure they see, watching as I'm passing these vehicles, making sure their blinkers aren't on, making sure they're not coming out. And I just kind of watch that out of my peripheral, just kind of skim the intersections, even though the light's green for us. I want to make sure those cars are stopping. A lot of you seasoned riders have your little things that you like to do, and I want you to leave that down in the comments below of what lane position you tend to ride in. I mean, you can ride right here in lane position 2. When you're out on your own, you're kind of taking the lane, you're saying, hey, this is my lane. I tend to not ride over there because a little bit more debris builds in that center line, a little bit more oil drips, I don't know, things like that. These high traffic intersections, you see this black vehicle off up to the side, this intersection's notorious for people going because people are turning right there to go back to Walmart. And if you're sitting at that stop sign making a left-hand turn and you have all those cars turning right, they tend to turn out in front of you. Make sure I'm down in first this time so when I go, I can actually go. So here I went into the center a little bit more just so I can trip the sensors. I've sat at this stoplight for a little while before because the sensors didn't read me. Now this video is probably one that's a little bit more for those beginners, but I do this type of video just because I want you seasoned riders to leave comments down below and talk a little bit about your experiences. I know some of you have probably been riding for like 50 years or more, and your experience is highly valued. Okay, I didn't get a green light. This bike's probably not heavy enough. Okay, I did not get a turning arrow. Obviously it didn't read me sitting here. Let's see how long we actually sit here. I should have just went up and did a U-turn up there, went through the stoplight. Okay, so it's not reading me sitting here because I should have got the green arrow with that vehicle. So when the light turns green and it's clear, we're going. Yeah. Didn't get the green arrow. And we're not gonna. So we're going. Can't keep sitting there all day. Alright, so here we are again on another 4-lane with the turning lane, and I'm in this position again. We're gonna ride up here and I'm gonna get in a 2-lane with a turning lane, and I bet you can almost guess the position that I'm in. So yeah, as you're riding in this lane and you come up to stoplights, you can kind of make sure, and I haven't had to do that yet, but you can kind of make sure you pick a safe spot to stop. I always make sure I leave an escape route, so in the event cars behind me do not stop, I have somewhere to go. Now if you're over in lane position 3, you can still find that place to get away, but even in 1 you can just shoot between the vehicles if you have to. So now I'm getting close to my intersection. I'm going to make a right-hand turn, so I'm going to move over. So now I get on a little bit higher alert, making sure I can be seen. This is probably a bad example because there's not a lot of traffic. Got somebody at the stoplight, gonna try to cross. They got the walk sign, so I'm just gonna hang tight here and they're gonna keep going. So now we can go. And automatically back to lane position 1. Now if Mrs.TWOWHEELD were with me, I tend to lead us around as we ride together. I'm usually the leader and she's over in lane position 3. Now if she were in this position, I would follow as closely and as comfortably as we both allow. Now I tend to follow her a little closer than she follows me, but I make sure I give her the whole lane, so in the event she needs to make some kind of emergency maneuver, she can. But you can see right where I'm at, the rock right there, I had to go around. That's the other thing, is all these road hazards. Always watching the mirrors. Now, in this section, there's no, or I shouldn't say there's no roads, but there's very minimal entrances on the right. All the traffic's going to be turning off of the street from the left until we get a little further up here. One of my biggest things that I just really dislike that people in vehicles do is when they come up to a stop sign or they're into their driveway or whatever the case, they stop, but then they start rolling forward a little bit. And those of you who have been riding for any amount of time probably know what that feeling's like. It's like, okay, you know, are you staying? Are you gonna go? What's, like, do you not see me? You stopped and acted like you saw me, but I don't know if you did. So like right here, car approaching, they're looking this way, they look the other way, now they pulled out. Now, one of the downfalls of riding over in lane position 3 is, you know, this type of angle. If you have a vehicle in front of you, you're kind of creating a blind spot for yourself. And I know I'm just only talking about it, not putting the example out there. You can't pick your traffic when you're out making videos. So yeah, you always just put yourself in a lane position that gives you the best visibility, you know, depending on your road, your traffic. If you're out in the country, I tend to ride more towards the center lane. It gives you a little bit more space from left to right, so that way if a critter of any sort comes out, you have a little bit more road to maneuver versus like riding right on that white line. You guys have roundabouts in your area? What do you think about them? Catch up to these cars so I can give you an example of what I was talking about. Okay, so see here, I got good visibility on the road. I saw that car pull out way up there. I'm seeing that other car turn off. Like, I can see all the way up to the top of that hill. Now, if I were to move over, now I backed off a little. Now I have a little visibility to the left and to the right. But if I was really worried about this car on the right knowing I'm back here, I would move over here and make myself visible so I'm not blocked in that direction or another. I'm going to make a left-hand turn here, so we can get back on some roads with some traffic. Now, I know this is probably a pretty boring video for those of you who have been riding for any amount of time. Maybe it'll be a good refresher for you. It's all these little things that when you're riding, you do automatically, I feel like you automatically just know to make yourself more visible so you can see, so you can make those decisions of, you know, what's going to happen. You can see brake lights further up, whatever the case. So that's a new rider tip, and I know they teach that in the new rider course, you know, your line of sight. I don't know, am I missing anything? If I am missing anything, you guys can leave a comment down below. Hey, I got an idea. Close out this video. We will get off of these main roads, and how about a road that doesn't have any turning lanes? I don't know how long I've been recording sitting at that stoplight. Well, I mean, I know how long I've been recording, but I have no idea how long this video is because I sat at that stoplight for I don't know how long, making sure that little blue vehicle sees me. Alright. I had to avoid that hole. What the heck? That rear-facing camera died. So as you can see, I still ride lane position 1. It almost looks like I'm riding in the middle of the road, but I promise I'm not. Yep. Just put a new battery in that GoPro before I left. It recorded for 24 minutes and died. Stevie Foe would make fun of me because his camera doesn't die like that. Anybody want to send me a new camera? Been looking at upgrading. So here I'm getting a little further away in case those vehicles are backing up, making sure all these vehicles are stopping at the intersection. Kind of out of my peripherals again, making sure that light was staying green. You guys probably get the hint by now. And like I said, I probably don't need to talk about this, but It's a reminder. Putting out flags or picking them up. I don't know what he's doing for sure, but thank you, sir, for your service. All right, that's a little bit about lane position. All right, so as I'm heading around the lake and going around some curves, I wanted to input this into the lane position video just because it's a little bit different on the curves, so we can talk about the safest lane position to be in. So as you're cruising around a treed area, curves, hills, you want to make sure you put yourself in a lane position that you can see the most. So like here, I can see around that curve a little further than if I was going to be over here. And same with coming up here, it's a right curve. So you put yourself here, and I know there's this little manhole cover that you got to watch out for, but you can see around the curve a lot further. That's obviously, if you know the road, you can just set yourself up for that. If you don't, you got to kind of plan ahead as you're going. And hopefully these people on bicycles stop. They got a stop sign. That was just a little thought I had, because I don't think I talked about that. On curves, put yourself to where you have the longest distance to see around the curve. I'll do another one up here. So like instead of being here, now obviously you can see just perfectly fine. Like you got a little hill with the curve up here. You can hug that curve, or you can put yourself in where you got the widest distance to see. Just a little tidbit, that's all. If you are new to the channel and this happens to be your first video, go back, watch a bunch of the other videos. If you are a new rider, I got a beginner series folder that will give you a lot of tips and tricks. If you've been along for the ride for a long time, thank you. If you're here for this Fury, welcome. I know that's it's a relatively new addition to the channel. Like I said, I debated about what to get out and ride, and I chose to take this Fury just because I knew I get a little bit more hunched up on that Honda Shadow, and I probably would have got more views riding that, but here we are. But if you are new to the channel, go down, click that subscribe button, ring the bell so you're notified for future uploads and activities. Give this video a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below of your lane position preference. And until next time, two-wheeled friends, peace out, and we will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.